The lie that almost ruined my family's reputation. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. My mom's name was on everyone's lips, and not in a good way. I'm Henry, 29, the guy who files insurance claims at Maplewood Family Clinic and fixes the printer when it jams. I'm not important in this town. My mother, Diane, she's the person people point to when they say, some families still have values. She runs the Maplewood Kids Pantry, organizes church drives, and somehow remembers every kid's allergy at the annual fall fundraiser. So when my phone started vibrating nonstop at 8:11 p.m. on Monday, November 17th, I assumed someone needed a last-minute donation receipt. Instead, the first message was from my coworker. "Dude, is this your mom?" Attached was a screenshot that made my stomach drop. It showed a text thread labeled Diane M. with a smiling photo of my mother. The messages were blunt, greedy, ugly. Move $12K from the raffle account. No one checks statements. Tell them it was vendor fees. They'll believe me. Under it, someone had added a caption in the Maplewood Neighbors unfiltered Facebook group. Charity Queen caught stealing. Share before it gets deleted. Within 10 minutes, the post had 300 shares. By 8:27, the clinic's group chat was whispering like I wasn't standing right there. By 8:34, the pantry board chair was calling my mom. By 8:40, the local blog that covers potholes and prom drama had reposted it with the headline, Diane Wilcox accused of misusing donations. I drove to my mom's house on autopilot. Her porch light was on, but she didn't answer when I knocked. I let myself in with the spare key, and she was sitting at the kitchen table with her laptop open, hands shaking so hard her bracelets clinked. "I didn't do this," she said, voice thin. "Henry, I didn't." I believed her instantly. But belief doesn't erase screenshots. It doesn't stop a town that loves a scandal. And it definitely doesn't stop a bank from freezing an account when theft starts trending in your zip code. I told myself it would be fine if we could just prove it was fake. Then I saw Brooke's name under the original posts shared by list. By sunrise, Maplewood was already acting like my mother had confessed on live TV. I tried to go to work anyway. My manager, Denise, pulled me aside near the copier. "Henry," she murmured, "if reporters show up here, we can't have a scene." A scene. Like my mom hadn't spent 15 years building the kind of trust people write sermons about. Diane Wilcox was the woman who baked casseroles when someone got sick and never took credit. She ran the Maplewood Kids Pantry, chaired the church outreach committee, and knew every donor by first name. In our town, reputation isn't money. It's whether people feel safe handing you their hope in an envelope. And that kind of respect makes you a target. Brooke was the glitter in our family photo. My cousin by marriage, technically. She married into us, divorced out, and somehow stayed present. Always at fundraisers, always helping. She volunteered at the pantry in crisp blouses, laughed bright enough to cut through awkward silences. People adored her because she made kindness look effortless. I'd always had a weird feeling around her, but I wrote it off as bias. Brooke had what I didn't. The ability to walk into a room and make people orbit. Mom liked her because Brooke fed her the compliments she secretly feared she didn't deserve. "Diane, you're basically a saint," Brooke would say, pressing a clipboard into Mom's hands like it was a crown. The only time Brooke's smile tightened was when talk drifted to security. Grandma left Mom the old house and a small investment account. Nothing flashy, but steady. Brooke once joked, "Must be nice to be the chosen one." She laughed, but her eyes stayed sharp. 2 weeks before the screenshot, Brooke offered to modernize the pantry. She set up our Facebook page, linked the new donation app, and insisted on having the admin password in case of emergencies. Mom was thrilled. "Henry, she's proactive," she told me. "She cares." Now I watched Mom refresh the Facebook feed with shaking hands and wondered if caring was just another costume. "Who would do this?" Mom whispered. I didn't answer, because Brooke's timing and access were already lining up in my head. Brooke hugged Mom that night, but her eyes never reached her smile. The post kept spreading even after the group admins locked comments. At 7:14 p.m. Monday, the Maplewood Neighbors Unfiltered group showed the screenshot as a fresh upload. Marcus later taught me you can check the Facebook upload timestamp. This one matched. It wasn't an old rumor resurfacing. Someone had created it, then launched it like a missile. By 9:10 a.m. Tuesday, the fallout was physical. The Rotary Club called off the pantry's winter drive until an investigation is complete. The church secretary emailed Mom. Pastor wants to postpone Sunday's service recognition. Maplewood Now reposted the screenshot with a headline that might as well have been a verdict. Mom walked from room to room like she was trying to outrun her own name. "It's not real," she kept saying, but her voice sounded like it was breaking glass. She opened the pantry ledger and shoved it at me. "Look, every deposit is logged. Every receipt." I looked. Dates, amounts, notes in Mom's careful handwriting. Nothing missing that I could see. Then a new comment got screenshotted and reposted. "I always knew she was fake." Someone replied, "My cousin works at the bank. Accounts are getting frozen." My stomach flipped. "Mom, did the pantry account get flagged?" "I don't know," she said, and that was the scariest part. Diane always knew. She knew which kid needed gluten-free. She didn't know what the bank was doing because she was already being erased in real time. At 12:26 p.m., a county number called her cell. She put it on speaker because her hands were shaking too hard. "Ms. Wilcox," a man said, polite and clipped. "This is Investigator Caldwell with the Sheriff's Office. We received a complaint regarding misappropriation of funds." Mom's face went slack. "A complaint? From who?" "I can't discuss the complainant yet," he replied. "We need you to come in today with your records." When the call ended, Mom stared at me like I was the only solid thing left in the house. "Henry," she whispered, "they think I'm a criminal." I wanted to scream that the screenshot was a lie and Maplewood was eating its own. At 9:03 p.m., Mom's phone rang, and she went white. Mom insisted on going to Rosie's diner like she always did. "Staying home looks guilty," she said. "People need to see me." We walked in at 8:02 a.m. Wednesday, and the room went quiet in that polite, deadly way. The waitress who usually hugged Mom gave a stiff smile and didn't meet her eyes. We slid into our usual booth. Mom tried to order oatmeal, but her voice shook. Rosie came over, apron on, face serious. "Diane," Rosie said, "people are asking if I'm still donating pies." Mom's chin lifted. "Okay. They're saying you were skimming," Rosie finished. Before Mom could answer, Mr. Halvorson, Little League chair, loud mouth, stood up from the next table. "My wife gave you 500 cash," he said. "If it didn't go to kids, I want it back." "It did," Mom snapped. "We have receipts." A woman I didn't recognize stepped right up, phone raised. "Then explain this," she said, and shoved her screen toward me like she was serving papers. The screenshot filled her display. Contact photo of my mom, name Diane M., message bubbles that sounded like a thief trying to be casual. It looked clean, convincing, shareable. Mom's voice dropped to a whisper. "Henry, you know me." "I do," I said, and leaned closer to the screen. The corner showed 7:19 p.m., but Mom had been on stage at the fundraiser between 7:10 and 7:40. I had the video on my phone to prove it. The battery icon was an iPhone. Mom didn't own an iPhone. Tiny details, but real details. The woman's mouth twisted. "So you're calling me a liar?" "I'm calling that screenshot fake," I said, louder than I meant to. Mr. Halvorson laughed like I'd told a joke. "Of course you are." Mom stood up, hands trembling. "I have never stolen from anyone," she said, but her voice cracked halfway through. I grabbed Mom's hand and pulled her outside before the shame turned into a mob. The cold air hit, and she folded against the brick wall, crying into her palm. "They looked at me like I was trash," she sobbed. "After everything." I stared at the screenshot again, because the scariest part was how believable it felt. A woman shoved her screen at me, and the text looked real. At home, the house felt like it was holding its breath. Mom paced the living room while her laptop chimed with new notifications. Every ding made her flinch. "We don't know what the sheriff will do," she kept saying. "We don't know what the bank will do." "That's why we go in person," I said. "We fight it." Mom's eyes flashed. "And turn it into a circus?" "In Maplewood, the louder you defend yourself, the guiltier people think you are." "People already think you're guilty," I snapped. She pressed her fingertips to her temples. "The pantry isn't just me. If donors bail, kids go hungry. If the church gets dragged, they'll shut the whole thing down." "So your plan is silence?" "My plan is survival," she said, voice breaking. "Stop commenting. Stop messaging people. You will make enemies." The front door opened. Brooke stepped in without knocking, holding a bakery bag like she'd rehearsed the entrance. She wore concern the way she wore perfume, light and expensive. "Oh, Diane," she said, rushing forward. "I saw it. I'm sick." Mom grabbed her hands. "Brooke, I didn't." "I know," Brooke cut in fast. "I told people it's probably edited." Her gaze slid to me. "Henry, you need to calm down. You're making it worse." "Someone framed my mom," I said. "That's what's worse." Brooke's eyes widened, wounded on cue. "I'm trying to help." Mom's fear twisted into anger, and she turned it on the closest person, me. "Stop," she hissed. "Stop talking like that in my house." Mom's voice dropped low, raw. "If you cared about this family, you'd fix it, or you'd leave and let it die quietly." Brooke put a gentle hand on Mom's shoulder, the picture of support. "The town is watching," she murmured. I looked at my mother's face, exhausted, terrified, shrinking under judgment, and realized she wanted peace more than truth. "Fine," I said. "I'll go." I packed a bag while Mom stood in the doorway, crying silently like she couldn't afford sound. When I zipped my backpack, she grabbed my wrist with shaking fingers. When I packed a bag, Mom whispered, "If you dig, we all burn." I spent that night in my apartment staring at the screenshot until my eyes burned. At 1:12 a.m., Mom texted me a single line, "Please, don't make this worse." No heart emoji. No love you. Just fear. I replayed the fundraiser video on my phone. November 17th, 7:10 p.m., Mom on stage, mic in hand, thanking donors. At 7:19, when the screenshot claimed she was typing "Move 12K," Mom was still smiling into the spotlight. Unless she'd learned to teleport, she wasn't sending anything. I zoomed in on the screenshot. The top bar showed an iPhone battery icon and 5G in the exact spot Apple puts it. Mom's phone, the one I'd helped her set up, was an Android. She didn't even know what iMessage was. Then there was the language. The screenshot had Mom typing LOL and U and K. My mother spelled out OK like it was a moral choice. She signed texts with a period. Diane Wilcox did not write like a bored teenager planning a heist. At 2:03 a.m., I got an email alert. New login to Maplewood Kids Pantry Facebook page. Location, Columbus, Ohio. Device, iPhone 13. The email was addressed to Mom's pantry account because Brooke had insisted on helping manage it. I called Mom. She didn't answer. I texted, "Did you log into the pantry page from Columbus?" No reply. So I did the thing Mom begged me not to do. I started digging. I called Marcus, my old high school friend who now did tech work for local businesses and fed tips to the town paper. He picked up on the second ring. "Henry, it's late. I need you," I said. Not as a friend. As someone who can prove something's fake. There was a pause, then his voice sharpened. "Send me everything. Screenshots, the video, the post link. Don't forward, export the originals." "Why?" "Because if you're right," Marcus said, "the only thing louder than a lie is a timeline." I emailed him the files, then opened the pantry Facebook settings. My stomach clenched when I saw the list of admins. There were only two, Diane Wilcox and Brooke Gardner. The screenshot said, "Sent from iPhone," and Mom has never owned one. Marcus came over Thursday evening with 2 coffees and the kind of focus you only see in people who don't bluff. He set his laptop on my tiny kitchen table. "Earliest copy," he said. "The Facebook post," I replied. "It's everywhere." "Shares compress," Marcus said. "I need the original upload." I hit download. The file saved as img_4481. PNG. Marcus's eyebrows lifted. "iPhone naming convention." "So it's fake," I said. "It could be a real iPhone screenshot," he corrected. "Just not your mom's." He opened the file and pulled up a forensic tool. "We check what we can check." He pointed at the message bubbles. "Alignment is off. Font weight is off." He zoomed in until the pixels looked like Lego blocks. "And that edge? Looks pasted." He built a simple timeline. 7:14 p.m. upload, then a burst of shares within minutes. Blog, church group, neighborhood app screenshots. "That speed isn't organic," he muttered. "Someone primed this." He clicked into who shared this. Brooke's profile sat near the top with the caption, "Heartbreaking. Praying for the kids affected." My jaw clenched. She's pretending to grieve the damage she caused. Marcus kept scrolling. "Who has admin access to your mom's pantry page?" "Brooke and Mom," I said, and hated how small my voice sounded. Marcus nodded like he'd expected it. "Next, verify the money claim. If funds actually moved, People will cling to that. Mom keeps statements in a binder, I said. But she told me not to dig. Marcus looked up. Henry, they're accusing your mother of theft. Silence won't protect her. I stared at the screenshot again, at how clean and convincing it was. If I'm wrong, I whispered, I ruin her anyway. If you're right, Marcus said, you save her with facts. He zoomed into the top corner of the screenshot until it was just tiny icons and a timestamp. Then he circled one detail with his cursor, slow and deliberate. That, he said, is not from a real iPhone message thread. What is it then? I asked. Marcus didn't answer right away. He just tapped the screen again, harder, like he was pointing at a crack in concrete. That's where the lie starts. Marcus zoomed in and circled a tiny icon I couldn't ignore. Marcus's circled icon was a tiny watermark. I text Jen. You see it? He asked. It's barely there, I said. It's the source, Marcus replied. There are apps that generate fake text threads. You choose the contact photo, the name, the time, even the little 5G icon. My stomach turned. So someone dressed up a lie like my mom. Exactly, he said. And Maplewood doesn't know the difference. But a fake screenshot alone wouldn't save us. People forgive bad judgment. They don't forgive missing money. So Friday morning I drove to Mom's house and did the one thing she begged me not to do. Open the pantry binder. Mom sat at the kitchen table, eyes swollen, and whispered, please be careful. The raffle account statement was clipped inside. The fake texts mentioned $12K, so I scanned October and November. My finger froze. October 31st, balance $18,422. 17. November 3rd, ACH transfer, minus $9,800. 00. Description, BG Consulting. Mom, I said, voice tight. Did you authorize an ACH transfer on November 3rd? Her head snapped up. No, I don't even know how. Do you know what BG Consulting is? She shook her head, and shame spread across her face. Henry, I deposit checks. I write checks. That's it. Marcus leaned in. This transfer is the real danger, he said. The screenshot is gossip. This is a paper trail. Mom started to shake. But I didn't. I know, I said, and something inside me hardened. We pulled up the bank's online login history. 2 logins on November 3rd. One from Maplewood at 2:11 p.m. One from Columbus at 2:18 p.m. 7 minutes, Marcus murmured. Long enough to initiate a transfer. Mom pressed a hand to her mouth. Brooke was here that day, she whispered. She said she needed my laptop to update the donation app. The room went silent. Brooke hadn't just made a lie believable. She'd built it on top of something real. If the sheriff saw this statement without context, my mother wouldn't just lose respect. She'd lose her freedom. Mom looked at me like she was begging for peace. Don't destroy the family, she whispered. I stared at the transfer description again, because it didn't say Diane. It didn't say pantry. It didn't say kids. The account the money went to wasn't Mom's. It matched Brooke's initials. Marcus made me build the case like we were heading to court, not arguing in comments. Screenshots are easy to fake, he said. So we capture sources. URLs. Timestamps. Screen recordings. Make it boring. We started with the Facebook post. Marcus archived the page and pulled the exact upload time. November 17th, 7:14 and 6 seconds p.m. He saved the share list showing Brooke's share at 7:15 p.m. with her prayer hands emoji. Then he exported the pantry page's admin log. Columbus, iPhone 13, 2:18 p.m. on November 3rd. Next came the bank statement. Mom didn't want me touching it, but she slid it across the table anyway, hands shaking. I hate that you're right, she whispered. I hate that I need you to be right. I filmed the statement slowly, panning over the date, the amount, and BG Consulting, then snapped still photos in case the video got questioned. Marcus insisted on backups. If one file gets challenged, we've got 3. We built the timeline on my kitchen wall with painter's tape. November 3rd, Columbus iPhone login. November 3rd, ACH transfer minus $9,800 to BG Consulting. November 17th, Mom on stage at 7:19 p.m. video. November 17th, fake screenshot posted at 7:14 p.m. November 17th, Brooke shares at 7:15 p.m. Looking at it like that made my throat tighten. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was design. Mom asked the question that hurt the most. Why would Brooke do this? Marcus said what I was afraid to. Because if she makes Diane look dirty, she becomes the good one. I wanted to storm Brooke's house with the statement in my hand. I also wanted to believe in some innocent explanation, anything besides betrayal. Mom grabbed my arm. If you expose her, she whispered, you blow up the family. Your aunt will hate me. Donors will run. And if I don't? I asked. Mom's eyes filled. Then I become the villain in everyone's story. That was the trap. Quietly fix the money and let the lie stand. Or expose Brooke and accept the fallout. Marcus opened an email to the sheriff's office and attached our files. We send this tonight, he said, or we risk her covering her tracks. I hovered over the send button, hands shaking like Mom's had been all week. Before I could hit send to Mom, Brooke called from a blocked number. I answered the blocked call because fear makes you stupid. Henry, Brooke said, voice warm. I heard you've been upset. My mom's being investigated, I said. I know, she sighed. She's fragile. So I'm begging you, stop making this a war. I put the phone on speaker. Marcus silently hit record. What do you want? I asked. Peace, Brooke said. If you drag this out, you'll ruin Diane more than any screenshot. You shared the screenshot, I said. A pause. People share things, she replied lightly. That doesn't mean they created them. And the Columbus iPhone login? I pushed. Her tone stayed sweet. Your clinic doesn't like drama, Henry. Rumors spread. Jobs get uncomfortable. Leases get complicated. My stomach tightened. Are you threatening me? I'm warning you, she corrected. Let the sheriff handle it. Don't send anyone your timeline. It'll look like you're covering. She hung up. That evening, Mom texted, Brooke wants dinner. Please come. Marcus wanted me to refuse, but staying away meant Brooke got to narrate my silence. At Mom's table, Brooke played concern like it was a talent. She squeezed Mom's hand. We'll get through this, she said, loud enough to sound sincere. Mom looked at me, pleading. Henry, please. Brooke turned to me. You can't accuse family without proof. I have proof, I said. Brooke's smile didn't move. Do you? Or do you have paranoia and screenshots? I forced my voice calm. Bank login history. An ACH transfer to BG Consulting. Your initials. For the first time, her eyes sharpened. If you're wrong, Brooke said softly, you'll destroy Diane yourself. Mom grabbed my wrist, trembling. Please, she whispered. I can't survive another public fight. For a moment, I almost caved, almost traded truth for quiet. Then my phone buzzed as I walked to my car. A text from an unknown number with one photo. It was my apartment door, shot from the hallway, my welcome mat perfectly in frame. She texted me a photo of my apartment door, taken minutes earlier. Marcus wanted to send everything to the sheriff that night. I wanted to sleep with a chair under my doorknob. Friday morning, we walked into the Maplewood Police Department with a folder so thick it felt unreal. Mom came too, shoulders hunched like the building itself might accuse her. At the front desk, she forced the words out. I need to report identity theft. They put us in a small interview room. Detective Ruiz arrived a few minutes later. Calm eyes, the kind of cop who'd seen too many good families implode. Marcus laid out the timeline. I played the fundraiser video and froze it at 7:19 p.m., Mom on stage under the lights. Then I showed the screenshot claiming she texted, move 12K, at the exact same minute. Ruiz didn't gasp. He asked questions. Who had access to the charity accounts? Who had admin access to the Facebook page? Do you have the original files, not forwarded copies? Marcus slid over his laptop. Screen recordings. URLs. Timestamps. Ruiz nodded once. Good. Mom whispered. So you believe me? I don't do belief, Ruiz said, not unkind. I do evidence. He explained it simply. A fake screenshot is hard to prosecute, but an ACH transfer is traceable. The bank can confirm where it went and who owns the destination account. Mom's voice wobbled. Brooke will deny everything. Ruiz's pen tapped the table. Denial doesn't erase records. Marcus leaned in. Can you stop her from deleting things? We can send preservation requests, Ruiz said. But keep this quiet until we confirm the destination account. Mom flinched at quiet. The pantry board meets Sunday, she said. They want me to resign. Ruiz's gaze sharpened. Then don't walk in blind. Control the meeting. Bring documentation. Bring a witness. Marcus glanced at me. And bring Brooke. Mom's mouth tightened. She's family. And she's the only other admin, I said. Ruiz stood, opened a drawer, and pulled out a paper that looked too official to exist in my life. "We request bank confirmation and schedule an interview with Ms. Gardner," he said. Mom's breath caught. "An interview?" Ruiz slid the paper across the table, finger landing on a name halfway down. Ruiz slid a printed subpoena across the table, and Brooks' name sat on it. Sunday's emergency pantry board meeting was in the church fellowship hall, because Maplewood loves judgment with coffee and folding chairs. Mom walked in pale. The board sat in a half circle, faces tight. A few donors showed up too. People who'd never attended a meeting before but suddenly cared about accountability. Brooke arrived last, acting shaken. She hugged Mom. "I'm here," she whispered. Marcus set up his laptop while Ruiz stood in the back in plain clothes. The board chair started. "Diane, before we discuss." "Before anything," I cut in, "you need to see what actually happened." Marcus clicked, and the fake screenshot filled the wall. He zoomed into the corner and circled a tiny watermark. "I text Jen," he said. "Fake text generator." Brooke scoffed. "Anyone could type anything." "Exactly," Marcus said. "So we brought more." Next, the fundraiser video frozen at 7:19 p.m., Mom on stage. Beside it, the screenshot timestamp. "At the moment this claims Diane sent these texts," Marcus said. "She's in front of 200 people. Original file. Time overlay intact." Mom's eyes filled. Brooke leaned forward, voice sweet but sharp. "Videos can be edited." "Henry, why are you doing this?" Ruiz stepped in. "We verified metadata and creation date." Marcus clicked again. Bank records appeared, key details highlighted. November 3rd, -$9,800 ACH transfer to BG Consulting. Account ending 4432. Under it, a bank letter dated November 20th. BG Consulting, DBA registered to Brooke Gardner. The room went silent. Mom turned, slow. "Brooke, what is that?" Brooke's face flickered. "Not my business," she said too fast. "Someone used my initials. Henry's obsessed." Then she pivoted to Mom, tears ready. "Diane, you know I'd never. Henry hates me." Ruiz didn't blink. "Ms. Gardner, the bank confirmed the destination account holder. The November 3rd login came from an iPhone tied to your Apple ID." Brooke's eyes widened. "That's a lie." Ruiz's voice stayed calm. "Then unlock your phone so we can verify the device and preserve the data." Brooke's fingers tightened around her purse strap, knuckles whitening, and her smile finally broke. Brooke's face changed when Ruiz asked her to unlock her phone. The meeting didn't end with applause. It ended with people avoiding eye contact. Brooke refused to unlock her phone. She stood up so fast her chair scraped. "This is insane," she said, voice shaking. "You're humiliating Diane. You're humiliating me." Ruiz followed her into the hallway. I couldn't hear everything, but I caught cooperate, preserve, and warrant. Then Brooke's heels clicked away. Inside, the board chair looked at Mom like she didn't recognize her anymore. "Diane," she said quietly, "I'm sorry." Mom didn't look relieved. She looked hollow. 2 days later, the sheriff's office froze the raffle account, pending investigation. Even though Ruiz told them we were victims, the bank wouldn't release funds until paperwork cleared. Mom sat at her table writing apologetic emails to donors like she was still the one at fault. "I hate this," she whispered. "Even innocent people get stained." At the clinic, my manager called me in. Her smile was careful. "Henry, I'm not saying you did anything," she began. "But the blog is calling. Patients are asking questions. I need you to take time off until things calm down." "So I lose money because someone lied?" I said. "It's for everyone's comfort," she replied, eyes sliding away. Marcus tried to keep me steady. "This is what happens when you fight a lie," he said. "The lie leaves splinters." Brooke's side of the family went silent. My aunt didn't answer Mom's calls. A cousin blocked me. People who used to wave now looked through us. Ruiz called Tuesday afternoon. "We obtained a warrant for Ms. Gardner's phone," he said. "Do not contact her." Mom sat down hard. "So she's in trouble?" Ruiz's pause felt heavy. "There's enough here for fraud, identity theft, and theft from a charitable account. But it's not over." That night Mom tried to sleep, then opened her laptop anyway. Her face went blank. "Henry," she whispered. She turned the screen toward me. A new post in the same Facebook group was already climbing shares. The headline was in all caps. The cover-up, "How Diane Wilcox is Silencing Witnesses." That night, Mom opened her laptop and found a new post. worse than the first. The cover-up post was smarter than the first one. It didn't accuse Mom of stealing. It accused her of using connections to bury the truth and implied Detective Ruiz was a family friend. It was built for people who couldn't admit they'd been fooled, so they doubled down instead. Mom read it, then closed the laptop with shaking hands. "They'll never stop," she whispered. Marcus said, "Then we stopped letting them write the story." He contacted a reporter at the county paper who cared more about documents than drama. Ruiz couldn't comment on an open case, but he confirmed one key fact on record. Diane Wilcox filed an identity theft report, and the charity account was treated as a victim account. We released a public statement the next morning, short, boring, undeniable. We posted the fundraiser video timestamp at 7:19 p.m., highlighted the iTextGen watermark, and attached the bank confirmation that the November 3rd transfer of $9,800 went to BG Consulting, registered to Brooke Gardner, with the case number visible. The county paper ran the story with the evidence embedded and the timeline laid out. When the reporter asked Brooke for comment, she sent one sentence: "This is harassment." No denial. No explanation. A week later, Ruiz called. "Charges are being filed," he said. "Fraud and identity theft. The charity theft add-on is being finalized." Mom cried. Not relief, just grief. "I let her in," she kept saying. I handed her the keys. That's when therapy started. Mom learned to say no without apologizing. I learned that saving someone doesn't mean absorbing their panic. We rebuilt with boundaries on paper. No shared passwords, 2 approvals for transfers, monthly statements reviewed by an outside accountant. Donations came back slowly, but they came. Brooke tried to reach Mom twice. One voicemail all tears, the next all rage. Ruiz advised a restraining order, and Mom signed it with a steady hand. By December, people stopped whispering when we walked into Rosie's, but the town didn't erase what it had enjoyed believing. Then, on Christmas Eve, when the house finally felt quiet again, the mail slot clacked. On Christmas Eve, a plain envelope arrived with no return address. I opened the envelope at the kitchen table with Mom watching like it was a verdict. Inside was a cashier's check and one typed page. The check was for $9,800. 00, memo line, BG Consulting, refund. No signature, just a bank stamp and a Columbus branch address. The page had no greeting, no apology, just a confession dressed up as blame. I didn't mean for it to get this big. I only wanted people to stop worshiping Diane and see she's not perfect. You took everything from me by being her favorite. If you drop the charges, the pantry won't suffer. Mom read it twice, hands shaking. Favorite, she whispered, like the word tasted bitter. Henry, she did all this over attention? Ruiz told us not to handle it any more than we already had. He photographed the page, logged the check, and said, "This helps establish intent." The money didn't erase the theft, but it proved she knew exactly what she'd done. Maplewood moved on the way small towns do, slowly, selectively. Some people apologized in private, but never publicly, like Pride had a budget. Some never apologized at all. But the pantry reopened. The first Saturday we stocked shelves again. A little boy tugged Mom's sleeve and asked, "Are we still getting the cereal with the marshmallows?" Mom laughed, an actual laugh, not a brave sound to keep herself from crying. Here's what I learned the hard way. Reputation isn't truth. It's a story people repeat. Evidence beats emotion, but only if you document it. Don't share passwords. Don't hand out admin access as help. When a lie hits, archive everything immediately. Timestamps, URLs, screen recordings. And if someone asks you to stay quiet for the family, ask who benefits from silence.